Choosing an energy company raises many questions. Who can make my electricity and natural gas work smarter? Where can I find a company that's easy to do business with, who knows the market best, and has options to fit my needs? For millions of homes and businesses, there is one answer: Constellation. Decades of market intelligence and proven solutions from a trusted energy leader. Energy made efficient, simple, insightful, and flexible. That's what makes Constellation America's energy choice. Learn more at constellation.com/energy.
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the War Room. We got Dev, Kill, Jimmy, PJ, B. Austin, the Hot Block Commander. How you want it in a 1 or 2 hour show to keep the brain running with the premise to talk sports on a national level. Roll with the topic, sorta like the rebels. When it's game time, they like the Fab Five during prime time. Sports conglomerates speak their minds a little bit. For sports medicine and sports veterans and greats. The 4th and 26th, so the war in Kuwait. It's the War Room with 5 nights at the round table. 5 Philly guys, diversified and educated. What up out there, War Room family? You're once again live in the War Room, brought to you by War Room Sports on the War Room Sports Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Dev McMillan. I'm at the round table with my brother, B. Austin. Jimmy is en route. He will be back in the building with us next week after his short hiatus. But look, week 3 of the NFL season is in the books. And we have a very serious issue jeopardizing the NFL season. It's jeopardizing the entertainment value and the sanctity of the games. And that issue is the new roughing the passer rules that are plaguing these contests. So keep it locked right here, because we're going to talk about this and a whole bunch of other things. But if you want to get in on the conversation, make sure you join us right now in the JW Philly Realty chat room. That's blogtalkradio.com/The War Room. Or you can join us on Facebook or Twitter at War Room Sports. You can also call us directly in about 10 minutes after we gamble with Gus when we open up the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline. That number, as usual, 323-410-0012. Before we get started, make sure that during the week when we're not live on the air, you check out archived episodes of our show at warroomsports.com, the War Room Sports mobile app, iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spreaker, anywhere else where you listen to podcasts, man. B, what up, man? So look, man, our 80s TV pop is now behind bars. What's your thought on that, man? Because I've been, watching social media all week, and I got a lot of friends, associates, family, and just people who are going to make my head explode in defense of Mr. Cosby. Like, I don't get it. Like, I understand the whole justice system thing. We never get a fair shake as far as what the consequences and punishments are in comparison to other people.
Everything you're about to say as context to us as black people, particularly black men in the U.S., is absolutely true, and it has absolutely nothing to do with this circumstance.
Right. There's just a lot of people out there that I no longer trust. Like, if I see you, man, don't hug my daughters, because I don't like what a lot of people out here saying, man. I got daughters, I got a wife, I got sisters, nieces. I don't like how people are defending this.
I have a unique and interesting perspective on it, and I don't know if you've noticed, I've kind of been on a little bit of a social media decompress and hiatus. I ain't really been around like that. Other than the research on IG every now and again, just to do research. Here's my thing, and I enter this caveat. I know that you haven't had this conversation, but both of us are acquainted with a young lady that the gentleman in question, not Heathcliff, but the gentleman in question groped and inappropriately touched in Crampton Auditorium in front of at least 20 other people who turned a blind eye because of his stature and who he is or was. We both know this person. I've had a conversation with her, and that changed my entire tune, which sad to say it probably should have changed before having that conversation. But after having that conversation, listen, my duty as a black man, as a father, as just a man in general, is to protect and serve the interests of my wife, my daughter, my mother, my aunts, those that I love and care about, my friends. So for me, I appreciate the art and the content that Bill Cosby has created. I love the Cosby Show as much as anyone else ever, along with the many movies and just things that he has done in our community. But at this point, I have to separate that from the man. And when you have 50 some odd people, and it's actually more than 50 women come forward, man, listen, we can't go with the conspiracy theories, man. You know what I mean? Like we brothers. If you had 50 people tell you that I did something from 50 separate places, come on, man. You're not going to give me the innocent pass because I'm your homie, because I'm your brother.
You know why? I'm going to just tell everybody, yo, man, B tried to buy NBC. That little dumbass stuff that everybody.
Yo, that joke got nothing.
The funny part is, like, who dredged that back up in the first place? He and a group tried to make bids for NBC in, like, 1992. White people, if they want to destroy your life, they're not going to wait 20-some years to do it. Like, it's not going to take that long to destroy your life. But anyway, man, like I said, like, you know, I will preface all of this by saying Bill Cosby was a childhood icon, idol, loved everything he seemingly stood for. And not even seemingly, everything he stood for in the public eye, you know, loved all of that. Now, there was a time in the past decade or so where a lot of black people weren't messing with Bill because of the comments that he was making in his little speaking tour. I don't know if you remember, me and Jimmy used to argue about that all the time. I used to defend the dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, he's just putting the mirror up to black society, he's telling us what we need to hear. But a lot of people, and, you know, Jimmy kind of convinced me of what he was saying after a while. Like, he was saying stuff that may have been a little destructive, you know, because it seemed like at that point he was tap dancing for the man. He was kind of, you know, telling us that everything that happens to us in society was kind of our fault. I'm defending this dude at this point. Now everybody chooses to defend him over the most egregious thing that we could think of outside of him being a serial killer. And I don't understand it. Like, all the deflection. We know that there's white men out there who's have sexual assault and sexual misconduct allegations and this and that, and for the people that live their lives by memes and they get all their societal knowledge by memes, it kills me, man, because I'm tired of seeing the certain memes that have inaccurate facts on them and the comparisons and the deflections. Fine, let those people be dealt with. First of all, don't forget what country you live in. So if your only answer to this, your defense is, then why isn't this white guy getting this and why isn't this white guy getting that? Because we live in America. That's why. That's why. But that doesn't make this any less egregious.
I can't allow
people have to be wearing these shoes to understand anything. It has to be your mom or your aunt or somebody like that for a lot of people to understand.
Empathy and compassion are gone. But I can't allow my morality to be dictated by my ethnicity and culture. Like, we all know what it is in terms of living in a white supremacist society and a white supremacist culture. That does not preclude me from calling black and white, right and wrong, whether it's a black man or a white man, a black woman or a white woman. Like, right is right and wrong is wrong. The dude sexually assaulted, allegedly, more than 50 women, like close to 55 women, and some of them were black women. And see, here's what really got me on social media.
Doesn't matter if it was one woman, but this was egregious.
It doesn't matter even if it was one, but there are black men particularly who will trash the black women that he allegedly assaulted and like, oh, that doesn't matter. Like, they're just working for the nefarious system and white man to pull Heathcliff Huxtable, Bill Cosby, or something. I'm like, yo, are you listening? It's like you say
about NBC. I told
27 years ago.
The next person in a face-to-face conversation about Bill Cosby or says anything that brings up NBC, I'm gonna slap the fire out somebody. Like, really? Like, come on, man. Like, those are the people like haven't researched anything about this whole case. And, changing the pages, deflecting a little myself, like Kavanaugh, he need to get his too. Like, he don't need to be confirmed to the Supreme Court, even if what he did. And that's another thing that kills me, because a lot of people I know, like, in the same vein, with all of these accusations started coming out about Bill, people are like, oh, man, they dredging up stuff from 35 years ago. But the same people are cheering it on, when something came up from 35 years ago on this dude. I think, hey, either way, both ways, both of these dudes did allegedly, I guess, some, egregious things, some predatory things. And the fact that, first of all, forget the Supreme Court nomination. There's no statute of limitations in Maryland for what he's accused of. So not only should he not be confirmed, he should lose the position that he already has, and he should eventually go on trial for what he did, because there's no statute of limitations in Maryland. People keep naming names, Matt Lauer, Harvey Weinstein, Bill O'Reilly, and all this kind of stuff. Really, the only person out of that bunch that has criminal charges is Harvey Weinstein, and his day in court is coming as well. So it's like we're complaining about him, and the due process haven't even taken its course yet. Bill Cosby wasn't on trial, 3 months after he was charged. It took a while. So for people, the main comparison I see, the meme that I see the most, all of these guys are so-and-so, why is this one the only one going to jail? Like, can we give it some time for, of the list that, people keep showing, there's only one other dude with criminal charges. Cats like Matt Lauer have sexual harassment allegations. He's been fired from his job. There's really not much more to that, that you can actually do. He wasn't accused of raping anybody. He wasn't accused of anything like that. He was accused of saying and doing inappropriate things in the workplace. But Weinstein, he shall have his day in court. Now, if and when he gets off, like what we've been used to seeing in this country, that's when we go crazy, about that situation. This whole Kavanaugh thing, if he still gets confirmed in a few days, that's when we go crazy about that. But one has absolutely nothing to do with the other, man. Bill Cosby, my childhood idol, I had to face facts a long time ago. Like, dude is a horrible human being. And I'll be damned if I'm going to be caught out in these public streets defending that, no matter what the color of his skin is. Because I've seen people go as far as to say, if you're not defending him right now, you're a coon. I'm like, wow. Do you have a mother?
That's the thing. That's where you start to even question. Like the defense is all of the things that have happened to us. And when I say us, I mean black people in this country and the world over. It's like, okay, we need our fair shake. But golly, goddamn. Like, it's not at the expense of righteousness and what is right. Like, you can't defend those actions and that behavior. I don't care who it is. Like, we this has been going on. This Bill Cosby thing probably been going on for what, Dev, about 3 years.
Yeah, maybe more.
So I'm Cosby'd out. I can't really address it. So as I said, I'm decompressing from social media. so I'm a little bit detached from what is going on because I've already had these arguments. I've read the deposition. I saw where the dude admitted, I was giving chicks pills and then getting them. Yeah, I'm like, I can't, man. I can't.
All right, well, let's get into let's talk some sports. Let's talk some sports because we can do this all day, all night. We got some picks coming up. We're gonna talk to Gus in just a few seconds about some football picks. But before we do that, let me just tell everybody that Hot Topics and Gambling with Gus is brought to you by MyBookie. What up, everybody? Let's talk turkey for a second and how much of it you can make betting on sports contests at MyBookie. The NFL is back. We're in week 4, so if you haven't checked out MyBookie yet, this is the great time to do so. You can lay down some dough on the biggest games in football. Join us and thousands of other online players placing bets at mybookie.ag, not .com, .ag. You tired of getting a runaround when it's time for a payout? That's why we urge you to join MyBookie. You win, they pay fast and without any hassles. You're wasting your time betting on sports anywhere else. They even have in-game live betting so you can place wagers after kickoff. So join now, and MyBookie will match your first deposit with a 50% bonus. To get that 50% bonus, all you got to do is use promo code WARROOM, all caps, WARROOM, to activate this offer. Visit mybookie.ag today. Play, win, and get paid, period. All right. So on that note, we're going to talk to Gus Griffin about some NFL games this week. Man, we gotta get Gus like some theme music before he comes on every week. We're gonna find something. We're gonna go to the phone line now. Gus, you there?
Yes.
How are you?
GUS.
I'm a little better after that 0-5 start. I'm getting a little bit back on track.
All right, and shout out to Gus too, because he and I had a conversation about Bill earlier as well. Crazy times we're living in, man. Crazy times.
Let me just add,
our best
Adam.
and brightest.
Yeah, let me just add just a bit, just to your discussion.
I know. That's why I said something.
Just
I know you were listening.
I
know you don't want to add something, so you got it.
Well, the thing is, I certainly didn't want it to come off as a defense. I ain't no defensive Bill.
No, not trust me. That happened with a bunch of, because what you explained to me, like when I said understood, that was 100% honest. Like, okay, I get what you're saying. Because other people that I talk to aren't saying that. They just go on.
No.
But go ahead.
What we got to avoid, and this isn't whether it's this subject or anything, you got to avoid sacred cows. Sacred cows are not healthy for critical thinking. And that, I don't care whether it's Bill Cosby, I don't care if it's Louis Farrakhan, I don't care if it's Barack Obama, I don't care if it's Oprah Winfrey, it doesn't matter. Sacred cows are not healthy for critical thinking. That's my soapbox.
Shoot, even here, and what we do here.
Doesn't matter.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James, like a lot of people, if you're worshiping, it's hard for you to have an objective conversation.
Nobody.
So we get that. That's a great point, man. And I'm gonna steal that next conversation. I'm gonna use the term sacred cow.
It's not good. Not good.
So let's start off with the big Thursday nighter. It would have been even bigger had Minnesota not laid an egg last week, being 17-point favorites and losing to the Buffalo Bills. I guess Chris Berman told us a long time ago, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So we got the Vikings plus 6.5 over the Rams. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's up to 7 now, so you get an even 7 touchdown now. Here's my thinking on this. They laid it. I mean, they, like you said, I can't say it anymore. They laid an egg. I don't remember the last time a team with that big a favorite actually outright lost, much less at home.
They got blown out.
They got blown out. It was like they sleepwalk. You could see them sleepwalking through the first quarter, taking Bills lightly. But then when it was 17-0, I'm like, oh my God,
it's time to play now. What do you guys do?
Exactly. So, but I think the Bills, I think they bounce back. I think they're a prideful team. They're going to bounce back, I think, tonight. I think the Rams are due for a little bit off game. I don't expect the Vikings to win, but I think they can cover that 7.
All right. I was going to say the Rams at home, the Rams don't, and they admit this themselves, the players, they don't have much of a home field advantage.
Yeah, that's another factor.
Because even last year when they were a good team, like I saw it for myself, Ty Gurley spoke about it recently. I was there for the Eagles game where Carson Wentz got hurt, and the stands had to be at least 65-35 in favor of Eagles fans.
Yep.
And you know, as they keep dominating teams, that'll probably get a little better for them when they get their new stadium.
Well, and they're in the Coliseum right now, right?
Right. So once
they
get their new stadium.
That's never played well to a home field. It's just too spacious. So that's a hard. And in L.A., there's a lot to do. And places like New Orleans, L.A., Miami, there's a reason that the fan base seems a little lousy. I mean, there's a lot to do. And you can even cite it for here in D.C. with the Wizards and then the Nationals to some degree.
Yeah, and you know, definitely D.C., but, you know, to a certain extent, a lot of those towns are kind of like transient towns. They have a lot of people from out of town.
There you go.
That come. So, then, you know, just other teams just travel well. But I do think a lot of the locals, like the Hispanic people, were like in Eagles jerseys that day. All right, so we got the Texans plus 1.5 Colts.
Yeah, I really think the Texans are really overall a better team than the Colts. I got to admit now, when the Colts held the Washington to 9 points, I was baffled. And then they held Philly to 20.
Maybe they got tough. Yeah,
maybe they got a better defense than I think. But the Texans go 0-4, and I just, you know, anytime a visiting team is less than a 3-point underdog, I tend to go with the visiting team because you get 3 just for being home. If you're less than that, I'm going with the Texans to win that outright.
All right, and you got the Bears minus 2.5 over what was a hot Buccaneers team. I mean, they could get back on track with this one, maybe.
No. Look, Ryan
Fitzpatrick. Is the Fitzmagic done?
Hey, he's the Edwin Jackson of NFL quarterbacks. He's on his 7th different team for a reason. It isn't because he's that good. You can get 5 interceptions from him, or you can get a 400-yard game from him. The 400-yard games are over. This is the best defense he's going to face, and I'm taking the Bears to win that probably by at least a touchdown. He's going to get. The Mac man going to get back.
Khalil Mack is going to get Jameis back into the lineup.
Exactly.
That's my thoughts on this one.
He is what we thought he was, you know, very up and down. That's what he's consistent at, and my last column is going to talk about that a little bit.
Pretty much. The crazy part about it is, because, you know, if you're a fantasy football player, he's still a decent fantasy quarterback because, and this is last week, too. Last week, he got the team down with all of his mistakes, so there was no choice but to keep throwing and keep, you know, getting statistics, keep gathering stats to even try to get them back into the game. So he still had a great day as a fantasy quarterback, but he crapped the bed like Ryan Fitzpatrick, like you should expect him to do after a few great games like that.
He does. Look. The bottom line is that red zone inside his own end zone interception. That's something that a rookie does. At this point in his career, there's really no way. And if you think about it, that could literally be the difference in that game. And I was a Steeler fan. I held my breath. But I'm like, hey, I know we're going to get some good stuff, but you're going to get some bad stuff. And at the end of the day, you're in the same place.
No doubt.
So
all right,
I came to an understanding. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've come to an understanding as to why Fitzpatrick is who he is and what he is. He has limited arm strength. And when he sees one-on-one coverage, or he channels his inner Brett Favre and he sees the talent on the edges, Deshaun, Mike, he throws the ball early.
Brandon Marshall in New York.
He just lets it fly, and eventually, when you're facing good defenses with good cover guys and good safeties, that wears off because they know how to.
And the funny thing is, B, everything you just said, he admitted as much. Like, look, with those guys, man, I just throw it up and let them go get it.
Yeah. And when you got Mike Evans, you're justified to do that to some degree because Mike Evans is not covered. I don't give a damn what it is. That dude is a grown man.
Right. All right, so, and last game, sad situation here. 49ers going into this without their starting quarterback for the rest of the season. Jimmy Garoppolo has torn his ACL. He's out. So 49ers plus 10.5 over the Chargers.
Here's how my experience with these. When a team experiences a significant injury, for one game, there is that Buffalo Bill rounding the circling the wagons type thing. I don't expect them to win, but for one game, they'll tend to overplay what they really are, and that's what I'm looking to see happen here. And so I'm taking them to cover that 10. If I can get one more in, over and under.
Okay.
Steelers Ravens over 50.5. Sadly to say, my Steelers defense alone might cover that thing the way they're playing. But so I'm taking Steelers Ravens over 50.5.
And this is the matchup every season that we say here. We use the cliche here. You can throw records out the window because for some reason they always play great games. All right, so we'll see how it goes this week. And, of course, Gus, you know we always appreciate your time and your picks, and we will talk to you again next week.
All right, gentlemen. Take care.
All right, no doubt. Take care, Gus. That's Gus Griffin, everybody. We're gambling with Gus. Get so you guys get over to mybookie.ag and you play some of these, see if you can win you some money. B, your homie, we've been talking about it for the last 5 years after his life broke down. Your homie Tiger Woods finally got a win after 5 years. He won the Tour Championship last week. Man, people were happy for him. He had like a mob of people following him on the green after his win. It was pretty emotional for him. He was fighting back tears the whole time. So what are your thoughts on Tiger finally getting back in the win column?
He finally hit Backpage and got to the Myras and the Toots that he needed to get his mojo back. That's all it could possibly be. He relented and succumbed to his nature, which got him back on top. It's all in the Toots.
All right, so B, I got something for you before we get to the phone lines because I see we got a couple waiting. We see Tobias. We coming. Tobias like, look, man, I'm off today. I'm calling y'all. It's on. All right, but look, man, I know, B, you've been, off the grid for a minute, social media-wise, like you were saying, so I don't know if you've been following. NBA training camp has begun. Most teams had their media day early in the week or late last week. So Toronto, they're trying to get to know their new superstar and Kawhi Leonard, at least their one-year superstar. So they, in the press conference and the media day, they made him talk. So Kawhi Leonard, of course, he's asked a question like, who are you? Like, we're just trying to get to know you. So, of course, he, in his little monotone, quiet, mute voice, he was basically telling the dude, like, I'm a guy who loves to have fun. I love to laugh and all this kind of stuff. So I bet you everybody's sitting in the crowd like, yeah, right, my dude. Like, he never heard you laugh, talk, for that matter. So
he never heard you talk.
He goes on to say, but, I can't really just give you a whole spill. Like, basically saying whatever you need to know about me, ask that question, and I'll try to answer it. Then he looked into the crowd like, I can't even see where you're sitting right now. Because, a lot of times, you've been in these press conferences, B, as a member of the media. Half the time you're sitting in a crowd of the press. The lights are on up there. They can barely even see where the question is coming from unless they point you out. You know what I mean? So he says, I can barely see where you're sitting now. And then, B, for the first time in history, he lets out a laugh. I'm gonna let you hear what that laugh sounded like. And that doesn't even do it justice, B. You got to see his face. It looks like he's so uncomfortable. It looks like he's never laughed before in his life, and he doesn't really know how. So it came out real awkward. You heard the sound. Just go see the video, man. Just get on the internet for 2 minutes. Go watch the video of this dude laughing. Shout out to the homie Billy Page, a.k.a. Hank. Hank said, he was like, they just now put in the program to make him talk. So they're like, they're putting in a new laugh program, and it's probably going to glitch for a little while until they get it right. And that's exactly what it sounded like, man. So shout out to Kawhi, because he's a fun-loving guy. He loves to laugh.
Yo, that sounds a little weird.
Yo, wait till you hear it while watching it. I'm telling you, this audio clip does it no justice. Wait till you watch
so what you're saying is the laugh doesn't match the actual facial expression. It looks like one of those old school Chinese subtitled kung fu movies.
That is exactly what my wife said when I showed it to her. So before even seeing it, you already got the gist of this. This dude looked like he was in a kung fu theater movie. They used to come on Channel 57 back in the day in Philly. Shout out to Channel 57.
Yes, they did.
That's exactly what it looked like. But it was so weird and awkward, man. It looks like he just doesn't do it. It looked like it hurt. All kinds of stuff, man. But go check that out. And if you're listening and you haven't seen that, make sure you go check that out as well. All right, so we're going to give a quick stat of the week, and we're going to go to the phone lines, man. The stat of the week, another one about your homie Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack becomes the first defensive player to record a sack and a forced fumble in 3 straight games since Khalil Mack did it in 2016, weeks 12 through 14. Yo, this dude is playing against himself right now, man. He ain't chasing no goals.
Yo,
he's playing against himself right now. He's the first player to do it since him.
Before we go into how great he is and how good he is, because only Khalil Mack is better than Khalil Mack, how do you feel about John Gruden right now?
Yo, how do I feel about John Gruden? I feel about John Gruden because he looks like a clown. Because not only did he do it, okay, it's fine. We understand when your team is not that great, if you have one big, component, one tradable asset, sometimes you got to let that go. I mean, let's not front. He got 2 first-round picks back for Khalil Mack. That's a great haul. My problem with John Gruden is every week after the game, he goes on TV, national TV, and says, I don't understand why we're not getting a pass rush. We need to figure out how to get pressure on the quarterback. Yo, all right, fine. You traded your only tradable commodity. I understand it, but stop compounding it by making yourself look even dumber, and you keep questioning the fact, you keep questioning why you're not getting pressure when you just traded Lawrence Taylor Jr. to another team. Like, give the man his props. Like, you traded him, you got a good haul for him. Give him his props. Say something like, we really miss Khalil Mack and we're trying to get the other guys to step into those shoes. Stop saying dumb stuff like, I don't know why we don't get pressure on the quarterback. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? That's my only beef that I got with him, B. That's my problem.
Yo, that laugh is classic.
Yeah.
That laugh is
I'm telling you, when you see it, you're going to come back like, yo. All right, so let's go to the phone lines, man. We got the homie Tobias waiting, and I know he got some Jameis and Fitzpatrick stuff that he wants to get off his chest and whatever else. Roll damn Tide. What's going on, Tobias?
Roll Tide, guys. Hey, all I got to say is, boy, it's a beautiful day outside. The sun is shining bright. Birds are chirping. Kids frolicking in the street. And Alabama's undefeated. Number 1 with a bullet. But before I get on this quarterback thing.
Wait, hold up. I ain't even going to lie to you, Tobias. I look forward to you coming on and talking your ish about Alabama. Because you are a talker about the squad. Go ahead, get to it, brother.
Hey, before I get to the quarterback, I was talking about online, about the whole Bill Cosby thing. And I said, even if he did it to one person, he's a rapist. But I was like, he deserves to go to prison. But I was like, I talk about the black thing. I was like, why in the hell R. Kelly is still in the streets, walking the street? This man had a sex tape with a minor that was out, and everybody watched it, and he's still walking today. And people are still
people
black
still
folks,
defend him. People still
Yeah.
defend him. Yo, we're
People
crazy,
still
in this
defend
town,
him.
man.
And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and call it what it is, Tobias. No one values young black girls. No one values young black girls. So
Shoot,
he
on
can
a
get
higher
away
level,
with it.
it's a lot of anti-women valuation going on, and a lot of it is by women because that's who I'm most appalled about. B. It's a lot of women defending Bill Cosby. A lot of women.
defending R. Kelly. A lot of black women defend R. Kelly because a lot of the brothers be like, "Hey man, I can't rock with him." And
art is greater than people care about the art more than. Man, R. Kelly, the greatest R&B singer of all time. Bill Cosby, man, the Cosby Show was and we all grew up on the Cosby Show. One of the greatest shows, one of the greatest display of black success on TV when they weren't showing that. Shit, they still ain't showing that half the time. When they weren't showing that, of course, he did a lot for hopes and dreams with that, and he made so many people even want to go to college with A Different World. But dude, all right, we can romanticize on our past. You know what I'm saying? Hell, it's not even a super terrible thing if you still watch the Cosby Show. If anybody else is gonna have the gall to play it, because I know TV One played a marathon that day. They might have been trying to get their last few off before they cut it forever, but. If do you? If you still want to have those nostalgic memories and watch and all that kind of stuff, that's cool. But the defense, I don't get it, man. I don't get it.
Yeah, you can't defend it. And on to this quarterback thing. All right, as a fan, I have to be honest. Ryan Fitzpatrick is giving everybody fool's gold. Because they're giving everybody fool's gold right now. Because here's the thing. And sometimes with the NFL, everybody goes by last season and rating these teams. The Eagles, for example, have a great defensive line, but the secondary is a problem for you guys. Got towards the Saints' defense is bad. Steelers' defense is bad. This week will be the first really good defense on all three levels this guy's facing. The 2001 Madden, throw it up for grabs, and hopefully big game Torrey Holt comes down with it. Ain't going to the team that rushes 4 folks. And, oh, yes, by the way, the defense is still god-awful. The running game is still non-existent. They got a guy started running back, Peyton Barber, no one even picked up in their fantasy league. And mind you, the 2 games they won were one-score games. So let's just be honest with this, guys. All these people in the media and these so-called Bucs fans want Ryan Fitzpatrick to be a starter is because they hate Jameis Winston. It ain't about talent. It ain't about play. It's about they don't like him.
It can't be, Tobias, because we've seen the Fitzpatrick story play out like 5 or 6 times already. So you're right. It cannot be just because, he has played well thus far. Last week he kind of crapped the bed. Statistically, he pulled it back together because he really didn't have a choice. Once you make the mistakes to get the team inside the rabbit hole, you got to, do what you got to do to try to get them out. But, I believe that what you're saying has a whole lot to do with it. And speaking of the game last week, the Eagles didn't get much pressure with their defensive line. That defensive line ain't been good since the Super Bowl. But, it wasn't good in the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, that defensive line ain't been good since the NFC Championship game. For real.
Hey, and here's the thing, though, and what people are missing. Dirk Cutter may tie – he's on a hot seat, right? He may tie his coaching career to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Just think about how crazy that sounds. and the thing is what people are missing. It's like he's the first. Like you talk about these records he broke. He broke an NFL record Monday night also, being the first quarterback to throw 3 interceptions in consecutive throws, and somehow people rationalize they weren't his fault.
Damn, they were on consecutive throws?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
All you heard was people, all you heard was, those 2 weren't his fault. I never heard that before from anybody else. It's like they trying to find any way to cape for this guy and make sure Jameis Winston is back in grosses with old Elvin from Cosby Show. It seems like that's what they want, man. like, don't they realize if the Bucs say we let Jameis go, there are about a handful of teams who need a quarterback will sign him right now?
It's either bagging groceries with Elvin or making license plate with Heathcliff himself.
Hey,
either one, they'd be all right to see him there. They definitely would be. Ain't no
telling what Bill will do for that Snicker bar in prison in a month from now. Is all I got to say. But
I told people, everybody is defending Bill, saying he's too old to be in jail. Bill will be all right. I'm pretty sure. First of all, they have a new prison, a brand spanking new prison in Pennsylvania. They closed the old state prison down, and they have a brand spanking new one. So I'm sure that has Goodfellas suites. So I'm pretty sure Bill's gonna be, living it up. Probably gonna be in there cooking steak, just like Paulie and Henry Hill and all them dudes were when they were locked up.
Pablo
I'm pretty
Escobar,
sure, as far as it can go in a prison, I'm pretty sure they're gonna take care of Bill Cosby. So
and
people
I'll
have
say
to
this
worry
real
about
quick
him
also.
being in his 80s.
Because I know you guys got to run. And I just think that sometimes people, like, when people don't watch the game, they just watch the stat sheets. And Ryan Fitzpatrick, they thought, well, he made a comeback. They got back in the game. Well, he was the one that put them in a position to begin with.
And you know what?
Like everybody hates Jameis so much, they close their eyes like, oh, those interceptions didn't happen.
It's long been known, too, that the hardest thing to do in football is to hold a lead. Because, you're trying to do stuff. You're trying to you turn into, the Knight Rider of the clock, while the other team is desperately throwing the ball trying to get back into the game. So we always see that. When there's enough time to close the gap on the spread a little bit, it almost always happens in the NFL. So
hey, I want to say you guys have a good week. Hey, and by the way, shout out to Brent Grimes, who should be retired by now after he's getting shook by Antonio Brown and Chris Conte. That's all I got to say, man. Your kids are getting bullied in school right now because of you. Hey, I'll say this before I go.
I'll let you next week, man.
Hey, Dave, I'll say this before I go. There's an article going around where a news reporter named Chris Conte. He'll be getting his mentions lit up every time you get lit up. Say, what did this guy do now? Hey, you guys have a good one.
All right, you too.
Phil.
Yeah, dude been getting lit up on Twitter, man. And he was like, oh, God, what did this guy do this time? Every time something happens to this Chris Conte guy in the NFL, my mentions go off the hook. People be on there killing him. He's like, I am not that Chris Conte. Either way, man, shout out to Tobias and his Bucks and his Roll Tide and all of that. So, all right, everyone out there, like we always tell you, make sure you check out our website at warroomsports.com. While you're on the website, make sure you take your time, look around, click on the Contact Us tab to send us a message about the company, the show, or inquire about sponsorship and advertising opportunities, joining our network in any capacity, writing, podcasting, business, sponsorship, advertisement, anything, man. Just check everything out. For general inquiries, you can email us at info@warroomsports.com. While you're browsing the site, make sure you click on that memorabilia tab so you can buy War Room Sports merchandise. Click the blog tab to read our latest articles in the All's Fair in Sports and War blog. And speaking of Gus Griffin, who was on with us a little while ago, he has a new piece that will be dropping either late tonight or tomorrow morning entitled How the Fantasy and PlayStation Expectations Are Ruining Football. And I haven't read it yet, but just judging by the title, I'm probably going to...
You already agree.
I was about to say, I'm being in agreement with that, and I've probably written something in the past about the fantasy football portion of that. I haven't really written about video games, so we'll see how close it is to my thoughts in the past. So just by the title, Gus, I feel you, brother. I feel you. All right, so anyway, you could on the website you can read the blog. You can click the respective icons and tabs to follow all our social media platforms. You can subscribe to our iTunes podcast. You can watch our webcast at War Room Sports TV. You can download the free app on Android or iOS. Make sure you do that. Just go search War Room Sports. You can get everything that I mentioned right there on your own device. So join the JW Philly Realty chat room right now during the show at blogtalkradio.com/The War Room, where, as usual, the homie Skyview1 is in there holding it down. Shout out to Kev. To enter the chat room, just sign up for a free profile on Blog Talk Radio. If you don't feel like doing all that, you can sign in through your Facebook or Twitter accounts. But while you're at it, make sure you click follow. That'll get you updates and reminders about the show. Every week, we'll be taking questions and reading posts from Facebook, Twitter, the chat room, the War Room Sports Game Time group on the GroupMe app, all of that during the show. If you want to text us, if you got our numbers, text us. We'll read that too. But if you want to call in and speak with us, the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline is now open at numbers 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted, but if you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to holler. So some of the stuff in the chat room, Skyview said, Media Day, Bayless got disrespected so badly that I, and he's emphasizing I because he's always telling us, get Bayless the F out of here. He said he actually felt sorry for him, and Bayless pisses me off during warm-ups. Yeah, disrespecting Bayless. First of all, why is Bayless still on the team? Why haven't they gotten some kind of deal to get rid of Bayless as a throwaway? And I'm not even as down on Bayless as everyone else. Like, I used to see him coming to the game early last season when he was getting minutes, and I thought he did some positive things. A lot of people saw it differently, but for me, it's not that, I think Bayless is a total bum. I'm just like, Bayless has no place on this team. So if there's anything that we can get in return for a deal that packages Bayless, and let's go ahead and make that move because he's just really not here to help right now. Skyview also said Gordon Gartrell instead of funniest episode of any comedic episode ever. Seinfeld I'm Out episode is a close second. That's what's up, and I understand both of those because I'm a huge Seinfeld fan. Personally, that's my favorite sitcom of all time. And he said Fitzpatrick will remain the QB until the novelty shop runs out of beards and chains. That might be true as well because until the people stop buying the Fitz beards and, they stop making their money, then that's when they're going to
I have a little bit different. I got a little bit different take than Tobias, and while we warned him, and I say we, as in all three of us warned him about Fitzpatrick, I feel like Jameis brings a lot of this stuff upon himself. Mm-hmm. Now, am I being unfair in assuming that he should be a little bit more mature than this, a little bit further along in his development, a little bit? Because for me, I feel like you're not getting equal return for the amount of boneheadedness you see off the field. So I'm afraid dude will be Byron Leftwich might end up being his ceiling. Not that Byron was a bum, but I'm nervous that that's...
No, but
yeah.
What you say, actually, when Tobias was on the line and he said, he laughed at the fact that Dirk Cutter might be, hitching his wagon to his whole career wagon, or at least this job to Ryan Fitzpatrick. I was about to make the point, but we kept on talking and I forgot to make the point. I was like, hell, he probably thinks, it's probably the same thing with Jameis though, as much as, as talented as he is, but as immature and as much as a bonehead he is, people probably would laugh at that as well. Like, man, you got to hitch your whole career hopes on Jameis Winston. So I guess when he weighs both of them, I don't know. Dirk Cutter's a white guy. He probably like, hey, if both of them are either fool's gold or boneheads, I'm just gonna go with the white guy. That's probably how he thought about it. Like, I'm just gonna go with the white guy. I'm not gonna hitch my cart to a black dude. And nobody get mad at Dirk Cutter because I made all of that up. That's all speculation. People gonna leave here like, yo, Dirk Cutter a racist. Yeah, I totally made that up. Either way, man.
Facts now. That's what
yeah.
Gotta offer them blame.
I definitely ain't got no facts on that. All right, so let's let's get into some grind topics, and we still got some calls on the line. Hold tight. We're going to get to you guys. But while y'all want to grind, is brought to you by Sports the Book. You guys tired of reading the same old sports books with the same old lists, rankings, imaginary starting lineups, all sorts of subjective information that no one can prove, that no one's even interested in proving, being passed off as facts? Well, be sure to pick up your copy of, it's an acronym, so stay with me, folks. Smart people only read the sports. It's a mixture of sports and hip-hop culture will keep you on the edge of your seat, keep you laughing like you're watching a comedy special. Just go to sportsthebook.com or get your copy from our website at warroomsports.com. But wherever you get it from and whatever you decide to do, just make sure that you don't miss this movement. All right, so what happened this week while y'all were on the grind? Well, for one, and this is a shout-out to all the people who said that when Nike did the Colin Kaepernick controversial ad that it was company suicide, and they were so happy to see that Nike had a 3% stock drop in the first 24 hours. Well, after the initial dip in share prices, Nike stock has skyrocketed to a near all-time high. Their market value surges by $6 billion, and they're sitting pretty. Now, I'm business savvy enough to know, there's some things going on at Nike right now, so I'm not going to give Colin Kaepernick the entire pot of credit for this $6 billion surge in the market share. But the point that I'm making is to the folks who are against Colin Kaepernick and were so happy to see what happened to Nike in the first 24 hours, not realizing that, investors do that all the time. Stock prices always drop as sharp reactions to anything controversial. So whoever fell for that, read a book, do something. But anyway, like I said, I'm not going to give Colin Kaepernick all the credit for this B, but it says something to those folks who thought that Colin Kaepernick was going to be the death of a company as big as Nike. Thoughts on this?
The same reason that Nike stock soared and Colin Kaepernick, LeBron James, and the other young lady that plays tennis, the reason that they are the face or a part of the face of this new Nike is the same reason that Barack Hussein Obama was able to conquer the whitest of White Houses. And so when you look at history and the global implications of this, Nike, I believe, placed a smart bet because the folks that are burning their Nikes and anti-Nike, they represent a pretty strong group in the United States, but not so much abroad, not so much in the global picture of things, not so much the world over. So this just tells you where people put their dollars, and I've always said this, your dollar, honestly, is your vote. Your dollar is your vote. So,
well, speaking of that, Nike, there was also a lot of social media activity surrounding a claim that Nike has donated around $1.2 million to the Republican Party in recent years. The report didn't say that they don't donate to the Democrats as well, but supposedly three times the clip that they donate to Democrats, they donate to Republicans. Now, when I first heard that, because people were saying that, in conjunction with Colin Kaepernick, this is what they're doing. He's fighting for something, but they're donating to the party that's blah, blah, blah. My first thought was, first of all, Colin Kaepernick, much like myself, isn't a Democrat nor a Republican. To take it a little farther, Colin Kaepernick doesn't even vote in this system. So, for you to try to throw that out there, like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't care who they donate to. And like we said to everybody the first time we spoke about Nike and the Colin Kaepernick situation, Nike is a business. Nike, like everyone else, is going to grease the palms of whoever they need to get whatever they want, whether they believe in it or not. We told you from the door it was a business. Yes, it's commendable that they had the gall to, for lack of better words, get in bed with a Colin Kaepernick and stand behind him with this controversial ad and, not just throw him out like a lot of people may have done just out of fear of backlash. Yeah, that's commendable. But at the same time, we told you that doesn't mean that Nike is all for the cause. It doesn't mean that they're, front line for the revolution or anything like that. So for the people that's throwing that out there, like what do you expect from them? And, there's people out there who actually got offended about it. And, because we already know that people think, and black people seem to think that, they have to be Democrats. Like, neither one, we don't owe any of these parties anything.
Those people don't understand business. If you study major companies, I'd say, and it may not even be limited to major companies, all companies have a budget. All established companies have a budget that they make campaign contributions to both parties,
depending on something that benefits them.
And they usually try and keep it pretty even, but in the case that it's skewed one way or the other, it's only based on the fact that there's some piece of legislation or policy that particular legislature or person is backing or supporting that benefits that company's bottom line. And that's where the dollars flow. Again, your dollars are your vote. And in the American polity system, you are able to purchase policy. And people don't get that. Like, they're as a business, they are buying policy. It's not about social or civic duty, social or civic commitment. It's about impact to the bottom line. So hey,
no doubt. But here's some. Let's take it even further though, because I don't just hear anything and not do individual research on a topic. So I fact checked the whole thing. So again, the claim is that Nike donated 3 times more to the Republicans than they did the Democrats during the 2018 federal election cycle up to this past August. Now, what I found out what's true is that individuals who listed their employer as Nike did contribute vastly more to Republicans than the Democrats during that election cycle. What's false, they say those contributions weren't made by Nike itself as a company, but the donations were dominated by Nike's billionaire co-founder, Phil Knight, who technically is no longer an actual employee of Nike. So they're saying Nike as a company, their political action committee, donated fairly evenly to both Democrat and Republican candidates during the same period. So this is another case of, people get a little modicum of information. They take it and they make whatever they want out of the information without researching it further to see what the 100% accurate truth of the matter is. And this is how, society works these days, because you have social media, information gets out there so quickly. People see something and they see. A lot of people kind of wait to see what whoever's posting something about it, wait to kind of see what their thought is on it, and then they just go adopt that thought, and then it spreads like wildfire before anybody takes 2 seconds. And all it did was take me 2 seconds. Took me 2
Shout
seconds
out to all the lemmings
to find this out.
Yeah. Shout out to all the lemmings out there. Groupthink is real. Groupthink is real.
No doubt. And lemmings used to be a big part of the vernacular here on the War Room. Hasn't been used in years. So shout out to the lemmings making another appearance, man. Lemmings are back. All right, man. So yeah, that's the whole
that
Nike
laugh
thing.
is kind of disturbing.
Make sure y'all fact check everything that you spread and you talk about. Not that it matters to me if it was true. Like, I don't care. Like, I really expect, everything that I purchase to have some company backing, as far as donations are concerned to Republicans and Democrats. When you're neither, what am I supposed to get mad at both of them? I'm supposed to get mad at that? Shout out to Sam Cassell. I'm supposed to get mad at that? All right, but speaking
black
of...
people gonna get real angry at me when I make my billion.
Speaking of taking advantage of people and their finances, the NBA and Turner Broadcasting has announced this week that fans, for the first time in history, can purchase a portion of an in-progress game to watch on NBA League Pass. So basically, once the buzzer sounds to the end of the third quarter, people can purchase the fourth quarter of a game for $1.99. whether they buy it at the start of the fourth quarter or if they watch the last 30 seconds of the game, you can get the last portion of the game for $1.99. They're loving it. It's a big moment, and I think they'll be successful. But here we go again.
Are you mad at them?
I feel. Go ahead.
Are you mad at them for trying it? Or are you mad at the people that actually go through with it?
No. I'm never mad at the people for trying it. I mean, if you can get a dummy, get a dummy. But but this is the thing. You already know how I feel about the Red Zone channel. People love the Red Zone channel. I'm more of a purist of the game. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just see when a team gets into the red zones about to score. I want to see the drive. I want to see how they got down there. I want to see everything. So I think the Red Zone channel is probably the most overrated sports invention of the last 20 years. And I know there's a lot of people listening that disagree with me wholeheartedly. I don't care. This is just going to be something else. Like we talk about the ESPN Sports Center highlight fans. We talk about the Red Zone fans. This is just something to add to that mix. This is a cousin of these people. These are the same people that's going to be loud wrong in arguments trying to tell you about a sport and about a game when they're only watching half of the last quarter. Or they're only watching the highlights on Sports Center. Or they're only watching the Red Zone channel. So they're going to tell you how they scored, but they're not going to give you any kind of X and O breakdown or analysis of what the team did to get in position or anything like that. This one is not going to be able to tell you how the situation got to where it was in the fourth quarter. This is one of those things. This is another tool for the casual fan. I'm not knocking the casual fan. What I'm knocking is the casual fan who jumps into a purist argument and wants to be loud as a dirt bike and don't know a damn thing of what they're talking about. And this is just going to give people more ammo because they're going to jump in and tell you who he's a finisher and this happened and that happened and blah, 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 and they ain't going to know a damn thing about what happened the whole game. NBA, Turner, League Pass, more power to y'all. If you can get a dummy, get a dummy. So what are your thoughts on this, B? Because I'm on a rampage. I'm rambling.
Yeah, you going in. He is going in.
Because you know how I am about that, man. Like Jimmy and I have had them arguments, man. Like we talk about, how long I've been a League Pass subscriber and the fact that, I watch off-brand matchups on a Tuesday night when everybody else is just watching what they throw on national TV, and I'm supposed to be the dummy for trying to know everything I can about the game. Man.
Listen, less is not more. In this case, it's the culture of immediacy which lends itself to emotion rather than analytical thinking. What you feel about something trumps what you think. You don't need to think. If it makes you feel good, if you buy into the emotion you felt when you saw it, if you like the person, that's all you need as the foundation of your argument. That's all you need in 2018.
I go through that every day. Talking to people on social media, man. Everything is about personal feelings, man. People will go all out of their way to play themselves to either love or hate somebody because that's what they feel in their heart. You ain't got to watch a game. You ain't got to know the facts. It's all good. All right, so
you know the perfect test case for that, and this person has absolutely nothing to do. Well, I wouldn't say nothing to do with sport. Rap is a sport. Joe Budden. Do you realize how many people will argue you down that Joe Budden can't rap because he's a noodle, and they don't like him because he's a noodle?
They're
like
just
Joe
going off
Budden
his
is one of
social media displays and his podcast displays.
Yo,
ain't too
Joe
many out there
Budden
that
is
can go bar for bar with dude.
One of the greatest lyricists of all time, and when I say that, I'm putting him maybe top 100, top 50, but that's still, there's a lot of lyricists out there. He's one of the greats, and people judge him based on how his content makes them feel and how his behavior makes them feel, and without listening to a lyric. Like, he is the perfect example of groupthink and what he does to people with formulating their opinions. No analysis needed.
Crazy. All right, man. So some more news that's, Me Too movement related. Boxer Victor Ortiz, he's turned himself in on multiple, I think 3 rape charges. And this is days before his next bout. The woman that he turned himself, the charges that he turned himself in on, her report came the afternoon of March 19th, so this was months ago. But he just turned himself in Tuesday and was booked in Ventura County out in California. That he was charged with forcible rape, forcible oral copulation, and forcible digital penetration, according to the Oxnard police. And from what I read earlier, like I said, there's multiple charges coming out because usually when there's smoke, there's fire. Once that smoke starts to come out, then everybody else start burning that fire because it makes people more comfortable. When there's somebody else to fight with you, it makes people more comfortable to come out. And I totally understand it. But yeah, he, in 2015, remember, he was arrested for suspicion of assault with a deadly weapon after being accused of beating up a fan at a country music concert. It's just falling apart for Victor Ortiz.
What is digital penetration, though? I still need to understand what that is.
With your digits, with your fingers.
Oh, digits. Gotcha.
Yeah, you were thinking, like, whoa, what are you? Like, you think you raped somebody over social media or something? Like, come on, man. What's wrong with you, man? Was possible, man. Indeed, they'll find a way. People committing suicide and all kinds of stuff on social media. They will find a way. All right, man. So yeah, I'm kind of Me Too and sexual assaulted out at this point. So I don't have a lot to say about Victor Ortiz. He and his God know if this stuff is true, and if it is, then it'll be his turn to face his consequences and pay the piper. All right, and more disgusting news, a Comerica Park employee, and if you guys don't know what Comerica Park is, it's where the Detroit Tigers play baseball in Detroit. A Comerica Park employee was seen, actually he was video recorded, spitting in pizza. So this guy was making pizza for people, in one of the concession stands, one of his fellow employees just recorded him taking a big loogie into one of the pizza and then covering it up with sauce. By all accounts, this was random acts. He had seen him do it before. That's the craziest thing. Like, if you go to games, like, this is random. It's not like somebody he knows, doesn't like, got in the line, ordered a pizza. This was for whoever it ended up being for. Like, he had no reason. I don't know what's going on in his life, but, there was no reason to just randomly spit in a pizza because you don't know who's going to get that. So the video went viral, of course. Comerica Park actually threatened the employee who recorded it and put it out there on social media. And by all accounts, from what he's saying, he was just trying to help. He was just trying to make it known. He was trying to warn people. And they threatened his job. They denied doing so, but they threatened his job over releasing the video. I guess they thought it was giving them bad press. But he said he had told them about it before, and they kind of brushed past it. So he went out and got, some video evidence and put it out his damn self. The guy's been detained and charged, and I think he's supposed to be tested for something. I saw a headline that say
hepatitis.
Yeah, this is a 20-year-old. Yeah, I think he's being tested for hepatitis, to make sure he's not out here making anybody sick by doing this. So let me ask you this, B. Let me say you went up, you were at a concession stand at a game, and you actually saw this happening. Like, what would your reaction be? Would you jump over the counter?
It depends on who I'm with.
Right.
If I'm with my significant other, then I would likely call authorities immediately. If it were you or I, then we would be going to the holding tank with another story to tell. Two middle-aged men jumped over the counter and beat the dude within inches of his life, and then we would be in trouble, and that would be that. But he would get an ass whooping.
Bees like that sometimes.
So it depends on the company. It depends on the company I'm keeping at that particular moment. This is why you must pray over your food, or better yet, eat before you go. Eat before you go.
No doubt. All right, so that's what happened this week, good people. While y'all were on the grind. Hey.
While you were on your grind, your food was getting fatty.
We'll give some quick birthday shout-outs, and we're going to get back to the phone lines. I promise you guys, so sit tight. We see you out there, Rob. We got you. All right, so birthdays aren't brought to you by anybody, so we're just going to give you some quick birthday shout-outs. Shout-out to Jason Phillips of MLB fame. He turns 42 years old. Damn, I'm getting old. Jason Phillips, 42. I say this every time we do birthday shout-outs, but shout-out to Jason Phillips.
My birthday, yay!
Rob Moore, former receiver, NFL. He turns 50. Coach Steve Kerr is 53 years old. Probably the greatest Philadelphia Philly of all time, Mike Schmidt, turns 59 years old. And we want to give an R.I.P., rest in peace, rest in power, shout-out to Mamie Peanut Johnson. She was a pitcher. She was a black female pitcher in the Women's League, and she was the first black woman to pitch in the Negro Leagues. She was born September 27, 1935, and she passed December 18, 2017, just less than a year ago. So shout out to her. Rest in peace, rest in power. Also a rest in peace shout out to Dick Schaap, a journalist, hell of a journalist. He was born September 27th, 1934, and he passed December 21st, 2001. So we'd like to give a nice big War Room salute to all of these folks on their birthdays.
My birthday, yay!
Shout out, salute. All right, it's that time. About to talk some NFL. But you guys can check out our website, warroomsports.com. But if you want to call in and speak with us about any of today's topics, the Digital Extreme Tech Hotline is now back open. That number is 323-410-0012. Press 1 when prompted. If you're already listening from your phone, just press 1 if you want to talk. And we're going to go back to the phone lines right after I tell you that this NFL wrap is brought to you by Digital Extreme Technologies. Do you or your business need a custom website? Well, for dynamic, professional, and most of all, affordable custom website solutions, you need Digital Extreme Technologies. No need to break the bank for an effective online presence, top quality, results-driven websites at incredibly affordable prices, and yes, financing options are available. So don't wait. Hurry. Visit digitalextremetech.com or call 267-205-4203. And for discounted rates, you make sure that you let them know that the homies over at War Room Sports sent you. All right, man, as I said in the open, man, the new rule on roughing the passer is plaguing the league this year, and it's making some of these games very unenjoyable to watch. So before we get into that conversation, let's go to the phone lines. We got the homie Rob calling in from out in Cali, out in the L.A. area. West Coast. Rob, what's going on, good brother? Welcome to the War Room.
What's up, man? Can y'all hear me?
What's the deal? Oh, I got you. I didn't forget about you.
Oh, okay.
I got you.
I
got you.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful song, man. That's a beautiful song.
You know what? Somebody tell Fred who got the best record in the league is the world champs, man. But anyways, man. Yo. All right. So, hello.
We here. We got you. What's up?
Yeah, man. I feel good. Oh yeah. Somebody tell Tobias to stick to college ball, man. Stick to football, college football. Keep riding the plantation, man. That's all I gotta say. Anyways, man. The Alabama
Rob be calling in the fire shots. It's like his disc call.
Thank God Court Bennett away from the computer, man. But yo, man, how y'all doing, man?
Pretty good, man.
Man, we blessed.
I'm good, man. I just got a couple things to say. Preseason's gonna come in basketball soon. LeBron is coming in. I wish we get like that applause sound for Magic Johnson, the HNIC that's in LA for starting Rondo over Lonzo Ball. You know, hopefully Lonzo can learn and develop his skills, and it'll be a wake-up call for him to play good. He has a lot of potential. We'll see.
Yeah, because of his knee injury, well, at least they're saying because of his knee injury, they might have been thinking about doing this anyway, but Rajon Rondo is going to be the starter, at least to open the season. But, you know, I think Lonzo is going to be a good player, and I think Rajon Rondo, especially for Lonzo, is a great person to learn from, learn behind, you know, learn with. So I think that's a good pickup for the Lakers, even if it doesn't, you know, amount to too much success on the court. Rondo one day is going to be a coach. Mark my words when I say that. So Lonzo having somebody like that to you know, to pick his brains every day in practice, in film session, I think it's going to be you know, worth a whole lot. It's going to be a mountain of wealth for that dude. But go ahead, Rob. My bad.
I mean, I just get annoyed with and I don't go football, but I just get annoyed with the whole non-sexual fan base that's crept up in the Lakers for him, because when people ask, like that question they ask, like, what do you have to do to earn respect from Laker fans? Because Laker fans are real basketball fans. And he says, I'm here. It's like a Negro win a championship. You know, if you want respect from us, first of all, win a championship and stop flopping. Okay? That's all I got to say. Win a championship. Stop flopping. Okay? This is City of Champions. Okay? This ain't anywhere else. This ain't, you know, Philly. This ain't America.
Taking shots. You root for a Philly team.
I got a
Still
question.
taking shots.
At the Sixers,
I got a
not the
question.
city.
I got
The
a question for you, Rob. How do you think the first meeting went between LeBron and EJ?
Who cares? Man, I'm a grown man. I don't care what other men do. They can do whatever they want. You know what? You know what? It will flip my.
So you're saying
mind,
that
I'm looking. You listen.
LeBron he can do whatever he wants. Okay,
Dude, I'm
all
in
right.
L.A. I'm looking at Taraji P. Henson. I'm looking at Sanaya Lathan. I'm looking at chicks like that. I'm looking at freaking chicks on Melrose. I'm looking at chicks on Compton. Shout out to Compton chicks. I'm not looking at EJ in West Hollywood. If you want to look at EJ, you can go ahead.
Yeah, we weren't talking about who you were looking at. We were talking about who EJ is looking at, who LeBron is. You know, I wanted to know how that meeting went. EJ is the heir apparent after Magic by the Lakers.
He probably took LeBron shopping. How about that? Get some fashion tips.
Possibly.
But yeah. Anyways, go to football. Anyways, go to let's not go. Anyways, go to football. I know everybody is freaking out that and the Eagles fan base is freaking out that the McLeod got hurt. I think because we have to. People gotta understand. Like I don't know if I sent that video how the Eagles changed the game about how they pay for the top 5 safeties in the league. They pay a lot of top dollar for. I think these DBs have a lot of athleticism. No, excuse me. I think.
Wait,
to be honest,
I'm trying to clarify on what you said. You're including McLeod as a top 5 safety in the league?
Why do you do that?
I should say top 5. I would say top 5. No, excuse me. One of the highest paid safeties in the league. We got two of them. We have McLeod there for a reason, and we have Malcolm Jenkins there for a reason. Now, I will say this. I think as a DB, I think we have how you say it? How do I say this? We're very underrated as far as the amount of talent they have at DB. I just don't think the coaching is there for them. But I will hope that they change that, and that it comes to change comes like right now with the coaching staff, because these guys like Mills, it should have been a second-round pick. But yeah, off the field issues, he was a second-round pick. Finney Jones is a second-round pick. I think Ronald Darby is one of the top 3 round picks. Russell Douglas, I think, is a third-round pick. So a lot. We spent a lot of, and the other guy too. I can't remember his name. 5'9". So we spent a lot of resources in these defensive backs. I really think that your core group can grow. It's just the coach. I just hope that the coaching improves. That we just don't waste the talent at this position or spend any more resources at this position. If we need to fire a coach, we should fire a coach, because that's what we did last time. And that's
I know it could help them, and there's a reason that they look better than they probably were last season. If the defensive line can get some pass rush, because we haven't been doing that thus far, help those guys out, because and then I'm not blaming it all on the defensive line, but that could really help things out. If you look at Mills and the mistakes that they're making, I think they're giving a lot of receivers too much respect. You can't be inside the 10-yard line playing 10 yards back. Like, all dude got to do is stop, catch the ball, and score.
It's what they did last season too. It's a continuing thing.
Yeah, but like everything they did last season could be done because we had a hellified pass rush. Now, we got some of the same names and even some better names this year, but the rush just hasn't really been getting there. Just like I just told somebody earlier, in the show, like the Eagles' defensive line hadn't been good since like the NFC Championship game. We got a little bit of pressure in the first half of the Super Bowl. We didn't get any pressure in the second half until, we got the sack that basically won the game. We had a game like that last week. It was the same thing. Like, we really couldn't get any pressure, and then we ended up getting a late sack that saved the game. So we got to get consistent pressure if we even want to give the defensive backs a chance to get better. Because if they're out there on the island for too long, they're not even good enough to to be out there guarding for 4 seconds per play.
We did get pressure on Andrew Luck. It's just that Andrew Luck just happens to be athletic. He was able to dodge and move. And now with Marcus Mariota, it's going to be, if we think, Andrew Luck was hard, Marcus Mariota is going to be another story. And
no, because I don't care what Marcus Mariota does. Andrew Luck scrambles looking to throw the ball. Marcus Mariota is going to run. I want him to throw the ball. I don't care how much time he has. Yeah, I want him to throw the ball, so it's all good.
I mean, I want to say two things because I know you guys got a lot.
Yeah, we got to roll in a second.
To be honest about this season, I understand what Dios was telling me in the off season, and people, you got to really listen when somebody tells you something. When somebody tells you, to tell you for a reason. The reason why he was telling me like, Rob, we won the Super Bowl. Rob, we won the Super Bowl. What he was really trying to tell me is like, Rob, have time to enjoy the moment.
Exactly.
And not enjoy the
It's
moment.
too early to be stressed. It's too early to be stressed, man. Too early to be stressed.
We've been waiting our entire life for this moment. Every because I gotta say a second thing, but every season, and my dad's an annoying bleed New Yorker, and every season he looked at he said, "Why you an Eagles fan? They ain't never win nothing, because he's seen all his team wins, all sports, pick another team, except the Knicks, pick another team, and all I did, is root for my team, even when I came home from church and we made that miraculous comeback, and with Deshaun Jackson, I was it's just a great feeling, and I told everybody else, stick with your team. By the way, Tobias, I never forget that you said, you might find other teams your Bucks don't do good. I'll never forget that, Tobias, stick with your team. So, but the second time Mr. Alabama. I hope he calls in his big ass. But I'm taking shots at him until he comes to California so he can do a podcast. He, comes on the block, tries to beat me up, and I'll be on the radio. Like, hey, that's our first show.
Right. I keep telling y'all, hook that up. Hook it up. We'll air it.
Holla at me.
All right, Rob.
Wait.
Go.
The second thing I want to say is black folk. I want to say, do research on your candidates and don't vote for them because of their pigmentation. Look at their ideology and look at what the dollars go to, because it doesn't matter who they look like or what they look like. It matters about their stance on political issues and how it affects your community. Che Guevara's son said it best: the color of skin is one thing, but the color of ideology is another. That's all I got to say.
No doubt. All right, Rob, peace.
Word.
Talk to you next
Thanks,
week.
Rob
out here, he started off dissing everybody, and then he dropped knowledge on their ass. All right,
knowledge on your dumb ass.
These roughing the passer penalties, man, is making games very, very hard to watch. Through 3 weeks, there have been 34 roughing the passer calls. Here's a comparison. This at this point last season, through the first 3 weeks last season, there were only 16. So there's been more than double the call because of this new rule where they're telling people we're going to call roughing the passer if you tackle somebody and your body weight comes down on them. Like, how else are you supposed to tackle, man? But if you've seen some of these things, especially the Clay Matthews, because he's gotten flagged damn near every week. He had a bogus one against Alex Smith this week that probably stunted any momentum that the Packers were trying to gather for a comeback in Washington. Every time you see it, and you see it a lot, a team is on their heels. You know, most sacks come on third downs. So you're getting off the field, and then the ref basically calls you for tackling the quarterback. Nothing more, nothing less. He's calling you 15 yards, keeping the drive alive for tackling the quarterback. No, not for spearing him, not for helmet-to-helmet contact, for tackling the quarterback, man. Have you been watching games, B, where you've seen this being called too much and it kind of ruined the experience for you? Like, it's killing me.
Yeah, I don't know really what to do because I've heard it explained, and see if you can follow this logic. They want you to grab him, wrap the quarterback up, and pull him down on top of you. Pause.
They want you to turn, spin, pull the quarterback on top of you, and risk yourself getting injured so you don't injure him.
Yes.
Basically,
yes.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what. I don't know.
I'm gonna turn around.
So
I'm gonna twist this guy, and I'm gonna bring this 230-pound quarterback down on my ribs.
Now,
so I can get hurt, so he won't get hurt. Come on.
So there's that angle, which is what makes which makes the most sense or lack of sense. And then there was James Harrison, who didn't even go into bodily harm or physical harm for the defender. He said most NFL quarterbacks now are between 230, 250 pounds and athletic.
Big dude.
If you wrap him up and spin, they're going to wiggle out of the tackle and continue to play on.
And then you're getting rained out by your coaches because you didn't get the quarterback to the ground.
Yo.
Break out the flags.
You're not allowed to cover. You're not allowed to cover anymore. You have to allow them to run freely, catch the ball. You can't hit them, hit the receivers. What's the defense out there?
Separate them from the route.
What's there for?
Because it looks nice. You know, all the formations and lineups and stuff like that. It looks nice when they're facing each other, and they can take nice pictures, you know, straight down the line of scrimmage with these men breathing in each other's faces in the cold. It looks nice. It hypes people up. But the defense is out there for nothing.
It really speaks to how bad there are certain guys, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, Larry Fitzgerald, A.J. Green. I genuinely believe that these guys would be stars in any era. But there's a large group of wide receivers who put up numbers. They aren't good. Just like the quarterbacks that are putting up these numbers. Ryan Fitzpatrick became the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 3 straight 400-yard games. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Why? Because he can just throw the ball with impunity. Not like they can tackle him. They can't sack him.
I always use, like, Matthew Stafford as my example. Like, Matthew Stafford is not a bum by any means, but he's not Dan Marino. And he puts up Dan Marino plus type numbers every season. It's because this is what they want. See, they're going to tell you that these rules are in, you know, they're going to tell you this is in the vein of safety. But, you know, you've already made a lot of rules for safety. We understand the helmet-to-helmet thing. Even that can be subjective at times, and they don't allow it to be subjective because, you know, sometimes people are ducking, kneeling, turning heads. You might hit the face mask for a little bit. Just a little accidental contact that's not going to hurt anybody, and they're still calling it. Fine. Okay. Helmet-to-helmet is a rule. We understand that. But when you start making rules and you're going to act like it's in the vein of safety when we know it's really not, now you're kind of making a mockery of the fact that, you know, you had to make those safety rules in the first place because you had been ignoring for years the effect that playing football had on human beings and their brains. You know what I'm saying? You fought against it. Now you're kind of making a mockery of it because now every little stupid rule you make to make offenses shine brighter, to make quarterbacks, which is their biggest investments, to try to keep them on the field, not for head safety, not for CTE, for any kind of injuries, because you cannot tackle them at all now. Now you're kind of making a mockery of the whole safety thing. You're just, because you're not. These safety rules don't apply for everybody. They just apply for your biggest investments. So I don't know. They're going down with all the complaints. You would think they would even go back, look at it, maybe tweak some things. But it seems like they're standing pat. Like, I'm hearing a lot of referees being interviewed, basically saying, and I'm not going to blame the referees. They're just calling what, the rules that they made up. They're just doing their job. But at the same time, they're out here going hard for the calls. Like, man, it is what it is. It's not going anywhere. So you got to live with it. Stop complaining. Learn how to, play under these rules. That's kind of harsh when people have been learning how to do something all their lives, and then you want to all of a sudden tell them that they can't do that, especially, pass rushers. It's crazy. You can't tell people who are playing full speed that once they get up to the quarterback, now in this split second, you got to do all of this thinking. I got to hit him this way. I got to wrap him and turn him. And when I do tackle him head on, straight on, I got to somehow make sure that my body weight doesn't fall on him because, I thought that's what tackling was. You wrap the guy and you both fall over. You're going to fall on top of him. It's just the way it is. But they're going to tell people in a split second, you got to think and avoid doing all of this so you don't get a 15-yard penalty and possibly a fine. It's ruining the game for me, man. Let's go to the phone line because we got Naj on the phone. Let's see what he feels about all of this. Naj, what's going on, brother? We tired,
man.
It's hard to watch games, man. We are ready to sell out just watching football in the first place. Everybody telling we're supposed to be boycotting. So it's hard to be a sellout, and then you don't even like what you're selling out for.
Indeed. That's not. Now look, this is the thing about this, man. Whenever you create bad rules, you actually increase the chances of what you wanted to avoid it happening. So
right,
when you put
that's why these quarterbacks getting hurt. It's karma.
Right, when you put this rule and say you have to tackle this way, you can't do this and that, eventually the defenders say, okay, I'm going to get my money's worth. We're going to start pooling our money together to pay these fines. Bounty Gate 2.0. Some teams are going to get caught doing that because the rules are actually they're encouraging the behavior of this because you're going to keep losing games because you got the pass rush, you did everything you're supposed to do, and now you got a dilemma when you get to the quarterback. No, they're going to go the other way. So this is going to end up badly for the NFL.
You got
real quickly because I feel like it is going to cause injuries, just like you said. But what is really going to happen is you're going to have a 260-pound defensive end trying to twist his body and contort his body, and we saw someone pop an ACL trying to avoid tackling a quarterback too hard. So I think the injuries are actually going to come on the defenders who are going to be trying to pull up and trying to protect their wallet. They're going to cause themselves injury, and guess who's not going to pull up? These offensive tackles, these offensive linemen. They're going to be
and the quarterback.
And
the quarterback.
So
that's another thing. You got quarterbacks.
That's what's going on right now. People are doing
right. You got quarterbacks popping their ACLs, scrambling because you can't tackle them. So now they're trying to get away from you.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what they're doing right now. So these results are going to make people go the other way. And they're going to say, well, hell, I'm going to get fined. I'm already here. Let me go ahead and make the plays that I'm supposed to make. And, hey, find me later. Shout out to Tack McKinley from the Atlanta Falcons.
And get our Greg Williams on.
Yeah, that's how they're going to approach it, man, because when you put in a rule like this is what you're encouraging people to do. Clay Matthews has already made himself the sympathetic figure, and next he's going to knock somebody out. Like, that's how this is going to go down. And if we've been honest about it.
If y'all going to find me, I'm going to give you a reason to find me now.
Yep.
You're going to throw a flag, I'm going to give you a reason to throw me a flag.
Right. If we be honest, you just touched on it. the whole idea of if I'm in the pocket, you can only hit me here, here, and here. But if I get outside the pocket, you can do whatever the hell you want to me. That's already an arbitrary rule to keep certain quarterbacks within the league. And the passing game rules now, which has kept certain quarterbacks in the league. Remember, the quarterbacks and other stars in the league are essentially middle management. They keep the labor negotiations to where they always have a class of people who, no matter what, they ain't striking because they got a whole boatload of guaranteed money that they want to come back to, and they're going to talk some sense into those rest of those guys who are thinking about holding out a little longer or pushing for, fair negotiating. That's why they prop that class up, and that's why they keep them. And then the unsaid part, which is most Americans like a certain kind of quarterback, which gets me to my controversial point. If you're not an all-pro or Hall of Famer, I think there are certain cities where you should just not have a black quarterback. It can't be done. You can't be a mediocre or average black quarterback in some cities, and I think we need to approach it from that standpoint. You know what I'm saying? There are people who hate Tyrod Taylor's guts and had to go out there and watch Peterman. And, they watched it. You know what I mean?
Yo,
the same hate.
Peterman.
Peterman put their first playoff appearance in decades in jeopardy because they wanted to put him in the game for who knows why. And shout out to Casey Mack in the War Room Sports Game Time group. He's talking about the same thing you're talking about, B. He said William Hayes tore his ACL trying to avoid landing on Derek Carr. See, this is crazy.
Right. And that brings us back to your Tampa conversation earlier. It was one of those cities. Jameis has been somewhat average during his career, well, a little bit above average. He's played at a Pro Bowl level for stretches, and then he's played, really bad for stretches. He hasn't been what he's supposed to be. And in that city, I don't think you can be a black quarterback there like that. If you're going to be a black quarterback there, you better be all-pro, one of the best in the game, period, and then you can roll. Because these people ready to throw him on the board for whack-ass Fitzpatrick, bro.
For a journeyman.
Yeah,
if you get that title for a reason, you're not that good. You're good enough to keep a spot in the league, to be somebody's insurance policy for a little while. But you're not good.
I've never seen a situation where OC walks into a room, revamps the offense, starts using the weapons in ways that they haven't been used, and they start scoring, and the OC gets none of the credit. We don't hear none of the genius stuff. We don't hear none of that. We hear Fitzmagic. You're like, wait a minute, dude, this dude ain't good. How come y'all talking about the OC? Because the sensible thing would be, with this new offense, if you put Jameis in there, Jameis can be even more effective than Fitzpatrick was without the floor of when Fitzpatrick goes bad on you, like we've seen in the last Pittsburgh game.
But instead, the narrative has been over the past few weeks, Jameis never got the ball to Deshaun Jackson like this, and he never got the ball down the field to Mike Evans. Like you said, the offense did change. So maybe if you put Jameis in, maybe he will get the ball to them because maybe they're running better stuff right now. So,
that OC is somewhere hot as hell about this because usually you get that genius tag by now, and he ain't getting none of that.
It doesn't matter, though.
All the headlines.
It doesn't matter because, even if they want to start Ryan Fitzpatrick, he will cede the job to Jameis on his own at some point. He already started last week.
In there after the bye week, man.
I think the fact that people were fooled by the little mini comeback that they had after he put him in the hole to begin with, that bought him another week.
Listen,
but
I'm 1,000,000% with you guys in terms of who and what Fitzmagic is. I'm with you. But I think we're giving Jameis a bit of a pass. Famous Jameis has been turning the rock over since Florida State, and it ain't getting no better.
I'm not giving him a pass. I'm giving him –
that's true.
I'm giving him the fact that he's their starting quarterback. He's their number one pick. You know what I'm saying? You don't lose your job. And that's the cliche because, we've seen occasions where people did lose their job to injury. Tom Brady wouldn't be who he is had a quarterback not gotten injured. But
Tony Romo,
generally,
Dak Prescott.
And 100% of the time, you should not lose your job to injury when Ryan Fitzpatrick is your backup. Shouldn't happen.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
If the other guy wasn't Ryan Fitzpatrick, I would definitely be with you and saying explore that, see what's going on. But if you got Jameis as your number one pick, the more sensible thing to be would say, okay, if this doesn't work out, we fire the coach, bring in another guy, and if that doesn't work out at that point, we cut bait on Jameis because he's the number one pick. But hell, why would you pick somebody number one and then really cut bait on him before you know if that guy's developed or not? Now, as far as the off-the-field stuff, Jameis is a mess, and he could be a mess going forward. Like, I don't think that's going to get cleared up or anything either. But, this is the Tampa Bay organization that drafted him number one with all of those draft concerns there. So I don't know how you're going to get mad on the back end. But as far as quarterback comeback, that is the most – man, it's the most misused fake stat ever, and we grew up on it because they would tell us about it. But what they never tell you is who put them in the hole to begin with. It's the same. It would be like you going to dinner tonight and thinking that the last bite of food is what filled you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how that works. You don't get to throw the team in a hole and then rally because you're passing all, the rest of the game and then talk about your greatness afterwards. Like, nah, bro, your bad play made everybody else have to do more to try to come back. But, yeah, y'all hitting on everything, man. I just wanted to add my 2 cents. And I'm not letting that certain city black quarterback theory die, man. I'm going to need to investigate this a little more, but I think in certain cities, bro, you need to tell your agent, nah, man, I can't go there. I can't go there.
Probably makes sense. Keep researching that. Holler at us about it. All right, well, thanks for your call, man, as usual.
For sure.
All right,
Nas.
Oh, I gotta give y'all one. Gotta give y'all one. Yo, what's wrong with your man Mute, man? He gotta find a better laugh. They gotta give him a better program. All right, so Jimmy Garoppolo out for the season. Speaking of quarterback, speaking of running, he was on a scramble. He could have run out of bounds and been cool. But he was going towards the out-of-bounds line. He decided to try to cut it up to get a few more yards. And as soon as he planted that left foot in the ground, his ACL went bye-bye. I say that not to say that I'm mad at him, like, oh, you should have did this, you should have did that, because hindsight is always 20/20. He's a competitor, and that's one thing I could say about Jimmy G. I don't know too much about him. We haven't seen anything worthy of proving that he deserves all that money, you know what I'm saying? And we won't get a chance now because he'll be out for another year. So it'll be another year of wondering, like, how good is Jimmy G really? And he gets to go out there, he got his bag, he gets to go out there and spend his money and not have to prove to us week in and week out that he deserved that money because now he has a bit of an excuse. Either way, like I said, I'm not going to blame him for the play because, first of all, we already know that's just the kind of dude he is. He's a gamer if we don't know anything else about him. He seems to be a gamer. So he tried to cut it up to get a few extra yards. In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best thing to do.
Bet he won't do that again.
Especially since he stepped out when he planted anyway. So even if he cut it up for a couple of more yards, took a big hit, which he did, that just added insult to injury, literally. He wouldn't even have got the extra yardage because he stepped out on his plant. So it all went bad. Like, it was a whole lot of negative on that one play. Like, everything you tried to do in that play backfired. You stepped out, you tore your ACL, you took a hell of a hit, all for nothing. But shout out to Jimmy G, man. So
shout out to Jimmy G.
There was a lot of hope for the 49ers this season, mostly from their fans and whoever else drank a little bit of that Jimmy G Kool-Aid. For me, it was still a show-me type season. It was a show-and-prove type of season. But what do you think their prospects are now with Beathard coming back in? Any chance whatsoever that the 49ers will be anywhere near the playoff race midway to 3/4 of the way through the season? Any chance?
6-10.
6-10.
6-10. I do believe that Jimmy G is an above-average NFL quarterback. Got a nice tool set. Definitely
I just don't have. I don't have enough film to prove him out to be. I'd like him to be that.
Well, I think I do want to see how he adjusts to defenses, being able to look at film and plan for him. But I do feel like I don't feel like he's what the hype is saying, but I also feel like he's not going to fall off into Bolivia.
He's not Matt Castle either, is what you're saying.
Yeah, he's not Matt Castle. I think we'll see. I think we'll see the return of Jimmy G from his porn star nursing him back to health. We'll see it.
The Steelers have been listening to trade offers for Le'Veon Bell. Tampa Bay was supposedly big in that mix. I saw a report on Bleeding Green Nation that the Eagles could be sleepers in that. I give that report. I pay that no mind, really, because, according to Bleeding Green Nation, especially since they won the Super Bowl, it's like anybody who's on the trade block, the Eagles are odds-on favorites to get them. They're players in the situation. They said the same thing about Josh Gordon. They said the same, they're saying that about Le'Veon Bell now. So I think that's just excited Eagles fans who think because now that they've won the Super Bowl that everybody wants to play there. So if you're forcing a trade, you're going to force your trade to Philadelphia. So we're a player. I don't believe it.
I think the Rooneys get a pass. I think they're scum. I think the way they treat their players, a lot of them is scum. I think their support of Ben Roethlisberger as a rapist is scum. Le'Veon Bell did a whole lot for that organization, and when it came time to pay him, they were like, nah, sorry.
And then be throwing the fact that the franchise tag is so much. They be throwing that in his face, kind of like Washington did with Kirk Cousins. Well, you're getting this much for the year, but can your best player by far, maybe not by far because they got Antonio Brown as well, but can your best player get some long-term comfortability? You know what I'm saying? Like, can he get Don't tell me how much the franchise tag is.
That's a terrible situation. You have the fractured locker room. You have the offensive linemen being company men. You got Mike Tomlin losing control. You got Antonio Brown turning into Nicki Minaj. You got all types of stuff going on in that locker room. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. But they should be willing to give Le'Veon Bell what he's asking for, which is 3 years with a fourth-year option, $17 million per. He's better than Todd Gurley. He's just not younger than Todd Gurley. So I get the age argument.
And that's what put them. That's what kind of put the pressure on them because. They were able to stand pat for a long time during this holdout in training camp saying, nobody's going to pay a running back that much. And he was basically saying, well, I'm more than just a running back to this team. I do everything. I line up everywhere. And they stood pat on that. Well, you can't pay a running back that because they know, that's kind of a factual cliche. There's not a lot of purists, a lot of NFL fans that know the game that's going to, agree that you should break the bank for a running back. But once they did that with Todd Gurley, it put them in a situation at this point. It's either pay him or trade him to somebody who will pay him. But the fact that Todd Gurley got paid assures you that somebody out there is going to give this dude the money that he feels that he deserves.
And I like Todd. I like Todd Gurley. I think he's a good quality back. I think he's a fringe Pro Bowler, All-Pro. I think he's going to have a good career. I've seen him play. I've seen Le'Veon play. He's not better than Le'Veon Bell. So the only argument you have is Le'Veon is 2, maybe 3 years older.
2.
So 2 years. He's 2 years older.
That's the crazy thing because being 2 years older, and any other profession, maybe not even profession, like most other positions. Like as a wide receiver, if these were wide receivers and you're like, well, you know, the better one is 2 years older, nobody's going to sweat that much. This just tells you how we view running backs these days because of that 3.5 year average shelf life that we always hear about.
Done at 30.
Right, like people thinking like, man, 26 years old, that's old. Like, damn, like still good. My nickname is Juice.
Yeah, what?
Like, it's weird, man, how we view running backs these days. But when you have a transcendent one, when you have the best one in the league, I don't think you treat them like this.
Yeah.
I don't think you treat them like this. Once Gurley got his, Steelers should have been like, all right, my bad. Take this bag, go put it in the house, come back, and we're going to go to the Super Bowl. But karma's a hell of a thing. All right, so what else is happening before we get out of here? Eric Reid got signed. The Panthers signed Eric Reid to a 1-year deal.
Good stuff.
You know, Eric Reid is somebody else that everybody considered to be blackballed because he was down with the Colin Kaepernick cause, down for the movement. What are your thoughts on this? Like we always say, it only takes one team, because I don't necessarily think it means that it wasn't true.
Yeah, I think he was. I think he was blackballed because if you look at the injuries at the position, we don't know exactly what the Eagles were going to do. Plus, McLeod, is just recently down. Right. But when you also look at Atlanta lost Keanu Neal and their starting free safety, and Eric Reid didn't get a call. And Eric Reid is better than the starting free safety in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? When you look at the Buccaneers, they lost their safety to a tight end stiff arm, and they didn't reach out to Eric Reid. Shots fired, copy. But it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that Eric Reid didn't have a job, because when you look at Pro Football's rankings, he is still a top 15 safety in the NFL to this day. So it's crazy. I mean, salute to the Panthers for doing the right thing, and hopefully he's able to regain form and continue his career for another 5 or 6 seasons and get a real deal.
All right. Well, rapid fire. We got 30 seconds. Games of the week, rapid fire. The Thursday nighter, the big one, Vikings at Rams. Who you got?
Rams.
Dream team. Dolphins at Patriots.
Dolphins.
I'm going to go Patriots. The Dolphins are 3-0, but the Patriots need this. Or they're going to let the Dolphins run away with this division. They're at home. I got the Patriots. Eagles at Titans. I'm going to go with the Birds. And y'all know that's not a homer pick. Me and B have been kicked out of Eagles groups for being way too objective. But I'm going to go with the Birds on the road. Who you got?
I'm going Eagles because Titans have a black quarterback. Go ahead.
Dude is not black. He's Hawaiian. Buccaneers at Bears. Fitzmagic over Khalil? Or are you going to get trucked?
I'm going Bucks.
I'm actually going to go with the Buccaneers with this one. It's probably going to be ugly, though. This is more so because I don't believe in Mitchell Trubisky as much as I don't believe in the long-term effect of Fitzpatrick. Ravens at Steelers. Throw the records out the window, but I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. What about you?
Ravens.
Last but not least, Chiefs at Broncos. Keep riding that Chiefs horse, pause, until they show me otherwise. I'm going to go with the Chiefs. Who you going with?
Patrick Mahomes, the greatest quarterback to ever exist. He's proved it in his first 3 games. I'm going with the Chiefs.
All right. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us for another briefing in the War Room. Shout out to everyone in the chat room on Facebook, Twitter, War Room Sports, Game Time on the GroupMe app, and all the callers who called in to holler at us. Special thanks to Gus Griffin for handicapping a few games for us. Tune in next week, live right here on demand as we recap NFL Week 4 and preview Week 5. We'll also catch you up on everything else happening all around the world of sports. So until then, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, and we'll see you right back here next time. Be sure to catch our conversations on Facebook, Twitter, as well as our blogs, webcasts, and network podcasts on WarRoomSports.com. Also, make sure you pick up a copy of Jimmy's book at SportsTheBook.com or WarRoomSports.com. Until next time, everybody, don't accept mediocrity. Be steadfast in the war against ignorance. We'll see you chumps on top.
6 to 8. Yeah. War Room Sports. Y'all ready? Let's go. Stay in tune to Jimmy. Know the blueprint. Every Thursday, 6 to 8, they do this. Shout out to Dev, PJ, B. Austin, Doc Bay on replay. WarRoomSports.com. Get that mobile app. It's knocked out. 323-140012. They be going and you sensitive, then oh well. Physical podcast, let's talk sports. Showtime like magic in the block push. Listen live, push one to join in. Rip your team or listen for your enjoyment. Hip hop dollars, pit stop and knowledge. Should be in sports credits, I ain't talking college. 5 guys, no beef though. Corporate secret, but the streets know. Belafonte, I got a G flow. KC, royalty, I'm in beast mode. 2 hours, get your game up. Who's the best in sportscast? You better name us. War Room Sports. Yeah, you know, Jimmy, Dev, TJ, Doc Bay, B. Austin. I'm shot. Up here coming on the beat.
War Room Sports, www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.